what really fundamentally changes for you, for your thoughts, for yourself, for your body, when you start to focus on what your body can do instead of what it looks like. In a word, what changes is everything. Welcome to the Biking Wellness Podcast. I'm your host, Stacey Smith, and I lost 50 pounds riding my bike by focusing on what my body can do. Now, I teach other women how to do the same. I am obsessed with completely flipping the script on weight loss so that we can work out to feel good and feel strong. If you are ready to stop dieting, learn how to appreciate your body, and have fun riding your bike, you're in the right place. Let's dive in. Hello, my friend. Welcome back to the podcast. And if you're just joining us for the very first time, a super special and warm welcome to you as well. Welcome to the Biking Wellness community. I am so happy that you found us, and I am so thrilled to have you here today because this week we are going to be talking about what I consider to be possibly the most important thing when we are talking about biking, when we are talking about wellness, when we are talking about moving our bodies. And that is the real reason behind why you need to focus on what your body can do. Now, you may have heard me mention this idea before, but I really felt like it warrants its own podcast episode just because of how fundamental this shift was in order for me to lose 50 pounds riding my bike, to lose my weight for the last time, and to really get to a place where I'm focusing on how strong my body is, and I'm focusing on what my body can do, what my body is capable of. Because it wasn't until I started to focus on this that I was able to really lose weight for the last time. And quite frankly, stop caring so much about what my body looked like. And when we do this, we start to have this warmth and appreciation for ourselves that, at least for me, for decades was completely missing. I just can't wait to talk about this a little bit more. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to dive right in, because if you have ever looked in the mirror, if you have ever hated what you saw, if you ever thought that, oh my gosh, I have to do something, I can't stand to look at myself anymore, I need to be skinnier, I need to look better, I need to have, more visible muscle tone. If you have ever been there, then I know that this episode is really going to resonate with you. And just really quick before I continue, if you have a friend who could benefit from this message, who, after you listen to this podcast episode, you're thinking, oh my gosh, I know that she will feel so much better if she just listens to this episode, will you please do me and her a favor and share this episode with her? I know that she will thank you. I will thank you. And it's just such a compelling way for us to start thinking about ourselves and our bodies so that we can feel good and we can feel strong. At the end of the day, every single thing that we do in our lives is because we want to feel a certain way. And we want to feel good. We want to feel strong. We want to feel proud of ourselves and what we accomplish. And so this is why I'm going to be talking to you about this fundamental shift and change from focusing on what your body looks like to focusing on what your body can do. So here's why focusing on what your body looks like, on what you look like in the mirror, just doesn't work, especially long-term if you want long-term results. When you look at yourself in the mirror and you pick at yourself and you say, oh my gosh, my arms are so flabby. Oh, my legs are so big. Oh my goodness, that belly, why does it look the way that it does? When you look in the mirror and you start picking apart the different parts of your body, you just feel bad. This does not motivate you to lose weight. This does not motivate you to go out and move your body, to get on your bike, to strength train. It just makes you feel bad. Even if it did motivate you, even if you were able to lose the weight and make some changes, because you're coming at it from a place of such resistance and lack and negativity, it just makes you feel bad, and you just find yourself constantly waiting for the other shoe to drop. Even if you get the results you want when you're coming at it from that place, you still might not be happy because fundamentally you are looking at yourself and your body in such a negative way. What the real thing is, and the real problem is that at our core, we don't actually care nearly as much about what we look like as we care about how we feel. We want to feel good. We want to feel strong. We want to feel good enough. And constantly focusing on what we look like keeps us stuck in this mode of not feeling good enough. It keeps us stuck in this place of comparing ourselves to other women, to comparing ourselves to women on social media, the fitness influencers who look so strong, who keep saying, oh my goodness, you need to start counting your carbs and your calories and your macros, and you need to eat more protein, and you need to strength train this often, and you need to do HIIT workouts, sit workouts. You might not even know what those things are, but when you're constantly focusing on thinking about all of the things that these really fancy looking people are doing or are telling you to do, then you just don't feel good. You just feel like you are not good enough, that you don't look like they do, that you aren't as disciplined as they are, that you aren't as motivated as they are. And you just feel bad. And you might find yourself thinking, I've never looked like that before. I never will. So why should I even try? Or maybe you think you looked like that at one point in time, but you're just completely convinced that you could never look that way again. When you're comparing yourself to other people on social media, comparing yourself to celebrities, then you don't ever really seem to feel like you're good enough. And that's just not a place that we want to make changes from. That feels bad. And that feels heavy. It drags us down. I have told the story before on this podcast about a picture that my family took of me when I was 15 years old at the beach. It was a picture that was taken right after the swim team season. I was probably in some of the best physical shape of my life in terms of my cardiovascular endurance. And I was really mostly pretty proud of myself and pretty proud of my body. I was in a bathing suit that I really liked, and this picture was snapped of me. And when these pictures were developed, because it was way back when pictures were developed like that, I tore the picture up. I was completely and utterly horrified. I thought I looked big. I was squinting into the camera. I didn't like anything about this picture. And my mother, bless her, she actually taped this picture back together, and I found it in a picture album, and I was just so floored that she saw something in that picture that I didn't at the time. Now, I was 15 and I ripped up that picture, and yes, I was younger, and yes, 15-year-olds are so critical, but I'll be really honest with you, I continued that same sort of behavior related to myself and my body for years. And I was always finding myself when I was in a group photo trying to stand behind people so that no one could see my body. Or I would find myself looking at pictures of myself and my friends and wondering why I was so much bigger than my friends and thinking that that somehow made me less than my friends. I was comparing myself to others. I was finding that I didn't measure up, and I was just feeling terrible. When we're so focused on what we look like, when I was so focused on that one snap in time, that picture, I wasn't focused on, oh my goodness, I can swim more laps in a pool than the vast majority of Americans right now. I wasn't thinking about the fact that I was actually in some of the best physical shape that I had ever been in my life. I was just focused on what I looked like, and I was just feeling bad. And so that is a fundamental piece of why it is so important to focus on what our bodies can do. When we focus on what we look like and we feel like we don't measure up, then we just feel bad. We don't feel motivated. We just feel like we shouldn't bother and we should just give up. And that's not a place to try to make changes from. That's a place to really kind of keep yourself feeling stuck. The next thing I want to kind of talk about today is what really fundamentally changes for you, for your thoughts, for yourself, for your body, when you start to focus on what your body can do instead of what it looks like. In a word, what changes is everything. My friend, I am almost tearing up. Okay, I'm totally going to cry. But everything changed for me when I finally started to focus on what my body was capable of, when I finally started to focus on what my body could do. Shifting the focus makes your body your friend. It makes your body the thing that allows you to do all of the things in your life that you want to do. You realize, oh my gosh, my legs are what spin and help me ride my bike. My arms are what I use to hug my son, my husband, my family. You think, this strength that I'm developing helps me carry my groceries into the house in one trip. Oh my gosh. When I started working with my personal trainer, she had me doing this exercise called a suitcase carry. And not only did this exercise help me with my grip, but it also helped me carry something that was on the heavier side. And now I can carry more things. And that feels amazing. That feels so good. And it has nothing to do with what I look like in the mirror. Do I see a little bit more definition in my arms now that I have been prioritizing strength training? Sure, a little bit. But because of the type of body that I have, it's certainly possible that I'm never going to have, those chiseled arms or anything along those lines. Maybe I will, maybe I won't, but I don't even care. What I really care about is the fact that I can carry all my groceries in and I don't have to ask for a bunch of help. It's just so wonderful to be able to focus on what my body can do, on what it is capable of. That was what motivated me to lose weight in the first place. It was that I wanted to be able to keep up with my son. He was 5 years old at the time. I wanted to be able to run around with him, play with him, ride bikes with him. And I wanted to be able to be around for him for a long time. I wanted my body to support me, to support him. That is when everything really started to change. That is when I started to actually see the results I thought I always wanted, but I was starting to see those results for completely different reasons. I thought it was because I wanted to look good in the mirror. And sure, that was nice. I'm not going to say that it wasn't nice to see that change in the mirror. That's what I thought I wanted. But what I really fundamentally realized that I wanted and needed was I wanted and needed to feel good. I wanted to feel strong, and I wanted to be focused on all of the things that my body was now capable of. When you start noticing what your body does for you, you naturally want to take care of it better. You're like, oh, this is what I was here for. This is what I was meant to do. You just appreciate it more. And it's no longer, this thing outside of you that is the enemy that you have to change because it doesn't look the way that you want it to. You decide, oh, you know what? I really want to fuel this body well so that I feel good and I feel strong, so that I don't have a tummy ache, so that I'm able to ride my bike, so that I'm able to lift my weights, so that my muscles recover properly. You want to move your body, and not just because you want to look better, but because you want to feel good, because you want to feel better. And you start respecting what your body is, appreciating what your body can do instead of criticizing it and constantly thinking about all of the things with it that are wrong. So that is fundamentally what changes when you focus on what your body can do. Now, the last thing that I want to talk about is something that I've already kind of started to allude to, which is why this shift is the absolute key to getting the real results that you want. The thing is that you don't actually need to love what you see in the mirror right now. I think that it's kind of a myth to think that anyone's going to look in the mirror, anyone like me, or possibly you, who has been criticizing themselves and their bodies and the way they look forever and picking them apart, to just look in the mirror and be like, I love you. You look amazing. You're fantastic. That is what we call toxic positivity, and that just generally doesn't work. It would be great if it did, but the thing is that your brain is way too smart for that. It's just simply not going to believe it. And it's really important to understand that this is going to be a process, that you might not love what you see right now, and that's okay. That's not the point. You might still not be thrilled about different aspects of what your body looks like, and that's okay. You're human. This is totally normal. Our brains are always scanning for what is wrong, and so we're always going to focus on the negative unless we become aware of it and we start to shift the way that we think about ourselves. Not to mention, side note, we were never supposed to be looking at ourselves this much anyway. We weren't supposed to be looking in the mirror. We weren't supposed to be taking all these selfies. We were just supposed to be, kind of seeing our faces in the pane of glass or seeing our bodies in the ripple of a lake. We weren't supposed to be looking at ourselves this much. But anyway, where I'm kind of going with this is that when you do appreciate your body, that actually leads to results because that makes you more motivated to take care of it. When you're proud of it, of what it can do, you're more likely to stick with the habits that make it stronger. You'll find yourself moving more throughout the day just because you can. You'll be like, oh yeah, let me get up and walk around a little bit. I want to get more steps in. I want to get a little bit of a break. And the focus on the movement just feels really good and it feels fun and it feels so great to be able to do that instead of thinking, oh my gosh, my back hurts, my feet hurts, my everything hurts. Those things still hurt for me from time to time, sure, but not the way that it used to. I used to use that kind of soreness as a reason not to move, and now I kind of see it as a reason to move. And so my overall cardiovascular health, my overall bone health and muscle health has improved because of this shift and because of this change. The thing is that, when you start appreciating your body, you start to want to do more, and you're more likely to actually stick with the habits that are going to facilitate you doing more things. And you'll just find yourself moving more throughout the day like I was. And you'll find yourself spending less time on the couch and feeling kind of bad. You'll think, oh, I'm feeling kind of sluggish right now. Maybe I want to get up and throw some laundry in, do some dishes, do something around the house, go for a walk with the dog, do something active because I know that the activity makes me feel good. It makes me feel strong. It makes me appreciate everything my body's capable of. So what happens is over time, the way your body looks starts to matter less and less to you because what matters the most is how you feel. And you start to feel good and feel strong. And when you look in the mirror, you start to have a very different take on what your body is capable of. And it's no longer about, oh my gosh, I can't stand the way that my legs look or my arms look or what's going on with my belly, because what matters the most is how you feel. So listen, my body's fluctuated so much over the years. And for a long time, no matter what my actual size was, I was always scanning it and looking for what was wrong. There have been times where I've been bigger than I am right now, times where I've been smaller, but I've always been focused on the wrong things. And that's totally normal. Our brains are wired that way. We are wired to scan for everything that's wrong in the world because that's what keeps us alive. But it ends up having a really detrimental effect when we are so negative about ourselves and our bodies and our appearance and the way that we look. It just becomes harmful. And the fundamental shift that I want for you, that happened for me, came when I started to focus on my body and what it could do, appreciating what it could do, appreciating everything that it allowed me to do, appreciating the fact that it was going to be the reason why I could live a long, healthy life and be with my son, be with my husband, be with my family for a long time. This is really the ultimate shift. This is what changed, in a word, everything for me. It's what kept me from falling back into that trap of constantly comparing myself to what I thought I should look like and focusing more on everything that my body can do. So it's not about always looking good. It's about feeling good. And when you start to encourage yourself to make that shift and make that change, and it won't happen overnight, but when you start catching those thoughts that don't help you, that make you feel bad, and asking yourself, What could I think instead that I will actually believe that will maybe make me feel a little bit better? Then that is when you actually will finally get the results that you so badly want. And let me tell you, when you do get those results, when you get there, you will feel good, but you're not going to feel good just because of what your body looks like. You are going to feel good because of all of the things that your body is capable of. Oh my gosh, thank you so much for being here for this episode. I hope that it resonated with you. And if it really hits home for you, and if you have a friend that you know can benefit from this episode, please, please, please share it with her. I know that she will thank you. I most certainly will thank you. I have felt for years now that all I really want to do is give each and every woman out there the feelings that I have about her body, because when I have learned to appreciate it, then the physical aspects of it just become so, so much less important. I hope you have an amazing day. I hope you have an incredible week. I cannot wait to be with you again soon, and I just can't wait for us to talk again. Thank you so much for joining me for this episode of the Biking Wellness Podcast. Be sure to head on over to sassy.com/guide, SASCY.com/guide, to get my completely free Lose Weight Biking Quick Start Guide so that you can get started with simple, doable weight loss today. That's SASCY.com/guide.